My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and it's supposed to be finals week. I don't even know what we fucking call this.
It's microwave sponge week.
It's basic bitch week.
Yes.
Yeah, there's probably going to be some ranting, and we kind of need some moral support to join us.
Yes.
Leah, how are you going?
Good. How are you?
So
You have to go back.
Yeah.
go back to work tomorrow.
Yep.
Terrifying.
I'm just glad you're here because I'm sure people are sick of us just going on about shit when things go to shit. And
we've got an extra person.
We've got an extra person because, you know.
And I'm also going to complain, so you know.
Well, what we're going to do is we'll get into the episode tonight and we will rush through that because we've got a much more pressing issue to discuss, which is I put out the call on Twitter under the hashtag of Masterchef No, for things that after 10 years of Masterchef, you don't want to see return for the 11th.
No.
I got lots of George Columbarises. But anyway, we'll come to that in a minute. So the challenge tonight was your stock standard Masterchef fuckery, really, wasn't it?
It was. We started out with a mystery box challenge, and they're bringing back all these mystery boxes from the last 10 years. And all I can say is, where the fuck's the chocolate box? But we know that Jess would have got that one anyway.
Does the budget not extend to remaking the chocolate box?
Quite possibly. Sure.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you, Leah, but the way that we sort of viewed it was that how exactly are you supposed to have, I don't know, fair judging criteria that's equal when you're giving everybody a completely different box?
Yep.
Like Khanh got one without any herbs and spices and a ridiculous tomahawk steak that would not fit in the oven, not fit into any pans there, and he couldn't get a hibachi grill or anything to fit it on. Like, there was no barbecue set up out the back. Like, what the fuck were you supposed to do that? That was just wankery for the sake of wankery. Yeah. Then we have fucking silver box. Like, what the fuck? Ugh.
I don't remember that one.
More importantly, and you pointed this out on Twitter, Leah, they started eating Sashi's ingredients.
Yeah.
Like, dip it in. It's like, Sashi's got to cook with that.
Yeah. It's like
Didn't eat the tiny teddies.
No, they didn't. They opened the tiny teddies for her, though. You know, they didn't leave them in a packet.
Oh, because women can't open packets of things themselves.
Did she use the tiny teddies? I didn't even pay attention long enough to notice.
What did she make? Oh, no, she probably didn't.
No, she made the quail.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She did the quail.
Where the Jew didn't go well.
No,
I mean Jew, not Jew.
Yeah, the Jew. And then because she didn't have a sauce, she plated it up and they said that it was dainty and lovely and fresh. When Sashi didn't plate with a sauce,
where's your sauce?
Oh.
Sashi made fish and then tried to make a broth. And interestingly enough, and again, we talk all the time about this and there are people that give us some criticism of this. But there's... How do I phrase this? Oh, fuck it. I'm not going to be delicate about it.
No.
Right? They stand there and tell Chloe and a couple of other people, but mostly Chloe, what to do.
Yeah. Nice and early in the piece so she's got time to adjust it.
Sashi starts boiling the fish down for a stock.
Yeah.
And it's not until the very end of the cook where Gary suddenly says to him, you know, some fish don't do that. And in fact, what you end up with is a murky mess, which is what you've got, and walks away. Didn't feel like letting him in on that a little bit sooner?
No, fuck that, because, you know, he's not a white male or a white woman. Just putting that out there, because it's become really fucking obvious with the games that they've been playing is that it's like this white male fucking sausage fest on at the moment. Yeah. Like, all the ex-contestants that come on are white males that they have a bromance with. He's Matt Sinclair and Reynolds. Oh God, there's their token Asian. You know, it's just fucking annoying.
Well, yeah, like, I think it was the premiere. My dad pointed out, he's like, they had the 9 past winners on, all but 2 of them were white.
Yeah.
Like, this show is really popular in India because it portrays like a proper Australian multiculturalism, but the people who end up getting rewarded are people who are privileged anyway.
And the other thing with the way they've sort of done that too is even Reynolds is only referred to as Reynolds.
Yep.
You know, and we pointed that out last episode. We talked about it. You know, Matt gets his full name.
Mm-hmm.
Reynolds gets Reynolds.
Yep.
It's just, again, it's It's stupid. And the other thing that was stupid, by the way, this week is the idea of another special reward that's going to be a massive advantage going into it's finals week. Do we actually have to bother with another fucking advantage?
No, we really don't, but they couldn't be fucked. They've fallen into a filming template now, and they're keeping with it. They know how long their days are going to be. They know how easy it's going to be if they've got this filming template. So they're sort of having the immunity challenge. They're going to have a cookie cutter immunity challenge. That's not an immunity challenge. It's called an advantage in Tuesday.
All right. So Leah, I'll put it to you this way. If the 10-year superpower was as ridiculous as we all saw it was, and it was stupid.
Which I actually missed because I was watching it on the live stream that day, so I didn't know what the superpower was because that bit was cut off.
Yeah, well, which is funny in itself. But the idea of the 10-year superpower being you can just opt out of being tasted once,
which Chloe
burnt instantly. What the hell do you make the special advantage? I mean, it's obviously going to be another immunity, a normal one.
Yeah, it would have to be, like, based on the number of episodes left. Apparently, there's not one on Wednesday. They get straight through to the final?
That's the only thing they could do, and I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
Remember back in season 1, when finals week was, you have 6 people, we just eliminate one person every episode.
Yeah, which would just make sense. And I kind of get the feeling that Channel 10 would like them to do that. The fact is that I know that it's like it's forward promotion for their future TV shows and stuff like that. But you can't half tell at the moment that Channel 10 are ready for all of their new shows and would kind of like Masterchef to go away.
If you look at, they're doing this pilot week thing, right, where they're releasing, I think, about 8 new shows.
Yeah.
Fucking, like, all bar one are all male-led, and the majority of them are white male. And it's just, like, so fucking typical of Channel 10 to have a white male-led, and it's the same dickheads. Oh, my God, they even gave Harley Breen a show. Like,
we just lost Kristie.
Yeah.
So let's get on to the challenges again, because before we all become ranty, so I know it's already gone. So the boxes again were Sashi got the silver box, Chloe got, what was it called, the dainty or the small tiny? I don't know, the fucking really tiny box. Jess got the wankery box, which is what I'm going to call it.
It's the Heston box.
Now
the molecular box.
Yeah, the molecular cooking box. What?
It's a molecular mystery.
What made it really shitty for me as well was the fact that
will she make a food, or will she make a half man, half ant?
Will she make a lemon meringue pie?
Now, what I'm
surprised they didn't brag in more, because she's like, here's what you got in the box. Now you've got some extra things, Jess, and we've got this 3D printer, and we've also got, Heston Blumenthal waiting for you outside to help.
No, that's next week. No, Heston's next week. As far as I'm aware, Heston's the grand final. So, because we haven't seen him this year, and come on. But what I'm really concerned about with what Jess got, though, in terms of the judging, and I had someone say to me, oh, come on, you're being harsh here because she's done really well. And I went, yeah, she has cooked it very well, and it was a difficult box. But the judges shouldn't be saying to her, you got the hard box. They should all be level.
Are you shitting me?
And the other thing with that is Jess...
It plays to her strengths.
It plays to her strengths. And Jess, yes, if it was a random knife draw, fine. But Jess also got liquid nitrogen, which makes it so much easier to look impressive.
Yep.
And, again, the others didn't. Like, Sashi didn't get anything that made it look ultra impressive. Khanh got nothing in his one that was a chance to make it look ultra impressive by doing nothing.
Or cook a steak.
Yeah, Ben got a fucking hibachi, right? And the other thing is, too, with Khanh, it actually showed an understanding of the ingredients by him not using the tomahawk.
He's gone, it's really expensive. If I broke it down, it's not good, and it wouldn't work. If I cook it in the wrong way and I don't have any means to do that anyway, it won't work. So why would I waste hundreds of dollars of meat?
And we've seen people previously try to do the massive steak and fail.
Yep.
So kind of looked at it and went, I don't have time or the equipment to do this properly, so I'm not going to. right? That's smart.
Mm.
It's just clever. Said Sashi got that silver box. Said Jess got the whatever it was box. I don't really care what the hell that one was. So you had Sashi, you had Jess, you had Khanh, you had Chloe, and then you had Ben who got the burnt box. Now,
Got ribs.
okay, I got ribs, and literally that's what he said. What are you making there, Ben? Ribs.
It's like, what springs to your mind? What are you going to make for us? So giving a bit of a description of like ribs, and I'm going to put some pineapple juice in it, blah, 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 blah. Ribs.
Look, he's honest.
And the other thing is too, he went with a pineapple salsa. But if you looked at it, all he did was char some diced pineapple.
And eggplant.
Was it from a tin?
No,
it was a real pineapple.
It was a real pineapple. He diced it himself. And
Many skills.
They looked anemic. And that was a couple of people on Twitter pointed out. The ribs looked anemic. They were very pale. They were very pale. And yeah, then he got to char them on the grill, which they gave him. But are we seriously at a point where in finals week you cook ribs on a grill
And win.
And you do pineapple on the side and they go, we love eating ribs. You win. Like, there's...
But like, at that stage, it's probably just recency bias. It's the last one they ate, so it's their favourite.
Yeah. It could also be... What I'm noticing as well is that there's a very... judge's ego coming into play. You know, it's not, what is the best dish? Where are the technical skills at? Where's the growth around this? It's, are you serving something up we like? And that came into play in the second round where Preston walks up to Khanh and goes, oh, are you going to ground down that crackling? Well, what is it about crackling that we like? And Khan's like, oh, so
who cares? Who cares?
On my list, judges complaining that they don't like something. This is your job.
We'll come to that in a moment. So there were a couple of funny things that then came out of this where we were talking about what you would have done with the boxes, and Josh pointed out that he would have gone with the beetroot panna cotta, a charred eggplant granita, and a tomahawk twirl.
I missed that one.
It just became, there was this run. I suggested a tomahawk parfait with a tomahawk and egg granita.
Look, a silver dory granita always goes down well after you've done a silver glitter twirl. Very, very Mardi Gras.
Oh, no, actually, most important question. Why is edible glitter Matt Preston's favourite?
It is interesting, isn't it?
Is it what he likes to lick off his partner? I don't know.
For the big game.
So shake it into my gin and give it a bit of...
Add some flair.
So I said that Sashi, when the jus turned murky, what he should have done with that was just call it the Yarra. And make it performance art.
Yes.
So,
unlike the Yarra, you don't drink it.
Yeah.
No. This is just for ambience. Like when they serve up something with a smoke under the cloth.
We haven't had a smoke this year. That's good.
No.
Like, that's the one thing they've avoided this year. But the other thing that came up again in the judging for this first challenge, Jess's age.
Revelations, people.
Guess what?
I don't know if you're aware, but Jess is 19. Only 19.
God help her.
Okay. So here's my thing. Like,
this is 19.
This happened with like Drag Race as well, like the most recent season of Drag Race. Like both of these like super popular reality shows are on their 10th season, which means that the younger contestants have grown up watching these shows.
Yep.
And they're
Aquaria?
Yep, I'm talking about Aquaria, and she's great.
Oh, absolutely.
But Ms. Cracker for life. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, well, Jess's entire goal since she was 9 has been to get on Masterchef. So,
like we said,
she's been practicing to get on Masterchef. Like,
and we talked about that
that's
earlier.
Great.
And we talked about that earlier this season. The idea of these young contestants coming through now, and it's, oh my God, they're so wonderful and they're young, and we can't believe how young they are. But yeah, they've all grown up watching the show. They know the way to approach it, and they know the judge's ego.
But if you gave Jess, say, another 5 years to get out into the world and to do a bit more and experience a bit more and, eat some fucking cheese, she'd probably be a really good contestant and a joy to watch. But at the moment, she's very young. She doesn't have the knowledge and the experience to, like, she's different to Callan last year, who I felt had more breadth of experience to offer.
But also, like, season 2, Callum was 19 and they didn't really care.
No, that one they didn't mention. And then the last couple of years, they've really upped that again. But what I found fascinating about the whole age thing as well, and the way they're looking at age, is that they, in the same way that they're pushing all these young people as aren't they amazing for their age. And we've said with Jess that early on in the competition that they had a chance to talk about growth, and we've said this all the way along. It's a growth thing with Jess. We think she's great, but she's not being allowed to grow, wasn't being encouraged to grow, and now they're telling her off for not growing. And her flavours are the same as they were in week 2, and they're going, that's sweet.
And she's doing another sphere.
But she did that early on, and you told her that was brilliant, so why wouldn't she keep doing that? But the other thing that's happening with age is that the older contestants are almost being humoured to some extent. And it's like, you know, like when Gina came on, it was, oh, look, we've got a nonna. And it was humour her. You know, Joe to some extent was being humoured.
Isn't she good for an old, unfuckable woman? Because this is the whole thing, right? There is a prevailing sorry, I'm really in ranty mode.
I know you are. There
is a prevailing value given to women in society, and that's how fuckable they are. And so after women reach a certain age, they're deemed unfuckable, therefore their value is less. And so when you see women like Gina come on, who is young,
she's gorgeous.
They call her a nonna, and I'm like, she must have had children young, and her children must have had children young, because she might be a grandmother, but she's not like in a discrepancy.
She's younger than my parents, and my parents aren't grandparents.
So there's this real kind of like, oh, isn't she good for an older, devalued woman? You know, let's just bring her on here, and then she can go back and do homely cooking for her family.
As problematic as Amy Schumer is now, that sketch Last Fuckable Day is perfect.
So,
and it's true. It is so true.
And it is.
And until you've been ignored when you're standing somewhere at middle, you know, mid-30s to late 30s, and people just start, you know, seeing straight through you, and there's no one else around to fucking serve, it's a real thing. Middle-aged women invisibility is a real fucking thing. Anyway, back to MasterChef.
Thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome.
So, you thought I was ranting tonight. It's a fair rant, though.
Going to go burn a bra.
So they talked about, not inside, please. Got lots of flammable things in this house. I really don't want it to go up. So to get back to the judging at the end there, they're like, the technique of this dish was wonderful and the simplicity of this dish was wonderful. But we like meat. Ben wins. And so Ben goes up to the gantry. Now, what's better, contestant Ben or gantry Ben?
I think I like the smugness of gantry Ben, because he's up there just yelling down for it. He's got so many opinions, and, you know, white men's voices are rarely heard, so it's really good to see him up there giving advice.
Ben to me, I don't know what you think.
Mansplaining the world.
I don't know what you think, Leah, but Ben to me seems to be openly embracing his Stephen Bradburyness.
Oh, yeah. Ben knows what's going on, and you know what? At least he's self-aware enough.
It's the Homer Simpson line of I'm a white male aged 18 to 49. Everyone listens to me, no matter how stupid my ideas are. It's true. So at that point, Twitter melted, and in a unified way, not like the Chloe stuff that happened the other week.
No,
Twitter was unified in charred ribs.
Really?
Week 5, charred ribs. Week grand final week, charred ribs.
Yeah.
Last 5, charred ribs. I've never seen Twitter combine with a MasterChef thing. That was it.
I know what this is. This is the world with Trump. This is the world under Trump. It's affected MasterChef. We've had to dumb everything down. Oh, my God.
You can keep saying what you want, but the Ben versus Chloe grand final is going to be amazing. So with that in mind, before we get on to the second challenge tonight, it's another week of our gift.
It is.
It is. And what we're going to go with tonight, well, let's face it, fuck it, ribs. So what you have to do is go to our Facebook page, The Washing Up, and we need to like us on Facebook, and you need to, under the thread that I'll put up for the gift giveaway, you need to tell us what ice cream from Ungerman Brothers Ice Cream you would pair with ribs. And why you would do it. Now, remember, there's 2 flavours on that plate, ribs and pineapple.
Hey, there's eggplant.
Yeah, but it's flavoured by the pineapple.
True, okay.
There's 2
Eggplant,
flavours.
There was eggplant.
Sorry.
I did see him try the eggplant.
Sorry, pineapple and burnt. So you have to work out what to pair with pineapple and burnt.
Ribs.
Rib flavoured ice cream. There you go, Ben, if you haven't thought of it already. Onto it, Ben. Come on, chop, bud. So yeah, go on there, and under the thread that I'll put up for tonight, you need to tell us what ice cream you would pair and why. And then next week we will be drawing out the recipient of our gift.
Yes.
A signed apron by Ben Ungerman of
Indeed.
Ungerman Brothers Ice Cream, and of course, MasterChef runner-up from last season. So moving on. They then go, there's no rules for this next challenge, which is just the season. And it just seems to be that they just got lazy and they couldn't be asked to write anything for the last week, and they've just gone, make it up as you go along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I am actually in favour of what they're doing about actually rewarding the winner of the mystery box properly this year. But in the past, when the mystery box winner has had to choose the key ingredient or something for the invention test, it's given more structure to that challenge. And I don't like how unstructured it's become this season.
Yeah. Also, again, whoever picked the ingredient lost. But
yeah,
it was horrible. It was the curse of winning the mystery box.
Poison chalice.
Yeah, but the thing with the lack of structure, and our friend Robert Harwood, of course, talked about this online. He said sometimes structure is good because it brings out the creativity and makes you be creative.
Yep, makes you think out of the box, makes you take some chances and risks, maybe give some skills that you haven't tried before, you've only practiced a few times, a run in the kitchen. But when you just, it can also be a skill to be able to choose from everything and narrow it down. And I guess it will, sort the wheat from the chaff of people who want to or have the ability to extend themselves, as opposed to people who just rely on something that they've made before.
However, let's get on to the real...
sometimes you get ribs.
Exactly. But let's get on to the real invention of this, shall we? Because there was real invention going on.
Oh,
real
something
invention.
We've never seen in the MasterChef kitchen before.
Well, there was something that nobody's ever seen because you can't do it,
No.
which was that Chloe was making chlorophyll. She's a fucking scientist.
No, she's a plant because only plants can make chlorophyll.
Oh,
Poison ivy. Just
all right.
I used to know that equation.
There you go. You could have been in the kitchen. Right. Chloe decided that she was making what she referred to as her best dish, which means that all the stuff she's been serving up to this point is shit.
She made
her words, not mine. And what did she decide to do? I'm making a forest floor. At which
never
point,
been seen.
Except for Khanh did a mushroom version of forest floor last week.
Yeah.
Kristen did a version of forest floor earlier this year.
Yes.
Reynolds made a moss. And last year there was also a pressure test, which was forest floor.
Yes.
All of these elements have been made called forest floor in the last 3 seasons. Chloe has invented this because they talked about tonight. And again, if she's taken inspiration, that is fine. That is wonderful. Talk about your inspiration. That's great. She claimed to create it, and the judges said, we can't believe you've created something like this. She didn't create it. She's lifted it from 3 years.
No, they just didn't think that she was capable of it.
I think what needs to happen is that if you're going to go on MasterChef, you need to get out into different environments. Like, so many people are taking inspiration from forest floors. Perhaps you should, walk around a city, get some inspiration from a concrete
gutter.
jungle, a gutter, a beach. Get some inspo from a beach.
A sewer?
Sewer. Local tip.
It's a turtle soup, isn't it? A sewer's turtle soup.
No, actually, don't venture into the sewers. You might get attacked by the turtles.
Yeah, exactly.
But desert.
Master Splinter will protect you. The desert. Well, we've had soils. Can you imagine a sand? Anyway, so what that dish involved, by the way, was a microwave sponge, because we haven't seen any of those this year.
And, it's not something I'd expect to see in finals week.
Yeah, and a couple of people pointed this out. And you know that things are not quite right when Lisa Romano is pointing out that, hang on a minute, this is finals week and you're doing that?
And Preston walks up and Chloe's going on one tangent and he goes, oh, it's not really going to give you, are you sure it's going to get the mossy texture you need? And then he cups his hand around some little herbs. You want that kind of texture. It's like, are you a moss connoisseur, Preston? Is that your, like, hobby on the weekend?
Oh, my God, I missed that.
For the big game. So, as a couple of people pointed out, I retweeted one from @OzRealityGal who said, tip of the day, don't waste your time on technical dishes. And a lot of other people talking about the fact that what the judges really seemed to want was like ribs and microwave sponge and
crackling.
Like, are we dealing
Occasionally.
Are we dealing with a situation where the judges think that this is like a group of 6-year-olds preparing like a dinner for them, and they're like, that's just the microwave sponge is lovely. I've been up. Oh, you did that so well. You put that in a cup so nicely. It's just getting to a ridiculous. Again, this is finals week, people. We've had a microwave cake and we've had somebody grilling ribs. Just ponder that. Now,
Sashi, who, took a fucking calculated risk tonight and cooked a cake, not in a fucking microwave, drew on his culture, which they like him to do, and extended that. But unfortunately, it was a dessert.
It was a dessert.
And they only like him doing savoury.
That was a problem. As I said, why did you choose now to do a dessert?
Because he's been doing some for the past 2 weeks.
He's not allowed to do anything that's not a curry, so he hasn't been able to learn how to balance flavours in desserts.
Exactly. Now, as you pointed out as well, Leah, on Twitter, it's true. One of the things that is always involved in that last MasterChef challenge is a dessert.
Yep.
You have to be able to make some form of overboard dessert.
Absolutely.
So why the fuck are you telling contestants off for making a dessert?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to do it. They've got to do it. The grand final usually involves 3 different challenges so they can drag it out. There's a savoury in there definitely, and there's a dessert in there definitely.
Yeah.
Like, unless you suspect maybe a couple of other people make it, at which point it becomes just desserts.
So Jess, of course, flagged what she was going to do, and that's make something that's too sweet. I'm really worried that my Negroni is going to be too sweet and I'm not going to get that bitter flavour. Well, worry no more, Jess, because that's exactly what happened.
And unlike everybody else who they warned about it, they didn't warn Jess about it.
No.
And then she served it and they went, that's too sweet. She's been serving desserts that are too sweet since week 2.
She's been serving savoury dishes that are too sweet
since week 2.
Has she even been in an immunity challenge?
Yeah.
Immunity? No.
No, see, like, people are going, oh, she's only 19, but she obviously, like, she keeps doing the same thing, and that's obviously not enough to get her into that next level, which is getting into the immunity challenge.
But this is what we pointed this out last week as well with Callan. And I said, I feel for Jess because I said last year Callan wasn't made to expand and they kept on telling him that everything he did was wonderful. And then he did exactly what they wanted him to do again, and suddenly they changed their mind and decided this wasn't the week to do it and smashed him and he got eliminated.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so you've told Jess all the way along that this is right.
Yeah.
So she's continued to do it because she's watched the show and knows to follow whatever you tell her to do. So she's done it again.
Absolutely.
And then you go, that's not what we want. It's like, you're sending out mixed messages. Don't send out mixed messages.
But then, like, the thing is, it's like the thing she did last week, like, with the bay leaves and whatever else that was.
Which
like,
went bay leaf crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but, they were talking about how, like, it wasn't the typical flavours of a dessert. So we know she can do that kind of thing.
Exactly. Incidentally enough, wasn't it funny to watch Khanh make the dish that she was hoping to make last week? That bridge dish between mains and dessert.
Oh, yes.
It was so funny. All right, speaking of Khanh. Yay.
I love that man.
Oh,
so much.
He is a ray of sunshine, and I'm so glad he's safe.
And there are people listening to this going, you're just Khanh fans. Yes.
Yeah.
I have been saying all the way along, if we get the final that we actually should get, it should be Sashi versus Khanh.
Yeah.
And it really should be Sashi versus Khanh.
But I'm worried that's not going to be.
So am I. But there was a point tonight after he made the pork, he made that dessert, which was the pork and apple, and made it as a dessert. And Matt Preston told him to put crackling on the plate. He put crackling on the plate. Then Gary told him off about the idea of putting crackling on the plate.
That much crackling. Crackling should be on a plate.
I don't think Crackling should be on that. It's like Matt told him to do it. He did exactly what he was told to do by a judge. But
okay, so was Gary fed that line by a producer?
100% Gary was fed that line. It's Gary. His Twitter name is literally Crispy Crackling.
Yeah.
Right? He was fed that line by a producer, and of all the people to feed that line to, you don't feed it to the guy who quite clearly has a crackling fetish.
Yeah.
So what...
Kristie and I had the same reaction there.
So,
now I've got images I don't need in my head.
Crackling fetish. We got the name of the episode, everybody. So, Gary at one point goes, everyone at home is yelling out, it's a fix, it's a fix, it's a fix, because he knows I like crackling. And as everyone on Twitter pointed out,
yes,
we are all yelling out it's a fix, but that's not what we're yelling about.
No.
Right idea, wrong concept.
Yeah, you're a little off the wavelength there. You know we're onto you when we can see through your bullshit, but you're not quite self-aware enough to know exactly what we're fucking onto you about.
The fix has nothing to do with Khanh knows they like crackling. Seriously. Khanh wins the challenge. I was terrified that it was. I was terrified that it was going to be Chloe and her negative space.
Well, it looked like it was, but they hadn't tasted Khan's yet.
Yeah, exactly. I was really worried about that. So let's get into now the main symposium of this evening, as it were.
Yes.
Now, I put this call out completely not knowing they were going to give us an episode that explained it. Happy coincidence.
So just exemplified everything we're not asking for.
So under the hashtag of MasterChef No, I asked everyone to tell us what they wanted to see gone from this show after 10 years, because it's been 10 years.
Yeah, I've got a theme song for it, so you go, and then I'll do the theme song.
So what I wanted to know was, what do you want gone from this show, because it's been 10 years? What don't you want to see for season 11?
No, MasterChef. There you go.
Well done. What a theme. What a theme. It's the best theme you've ever had.
I know.
It's the best theme to that segment I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Okay, so the main reason
I invented it.
You did, well done. Completely
invented it.
Thank you, Chloe. So we'll start with you, Leah, because I know that you were hard at work on this list.
Yep.
So what did you come up with?
Well, the first thing I wrote, and this is, I started writing this list at Flinders Street Station this afternoon in my notebook.
How very Melburnian.
Yeah, more about that later, because I have some TV recommendations. Anyway. So, K-Lets, are they real? This isn't a complaint, it's just funny.
As I said, I took a photo the other day in Coles of the K-Lets, and they were being grown by the Samwell family.
Oh, that's right.
Again,
Harleys.
It's appropriate.
Yep, so what else?
Let's just see. What people have submitted are probably quite similar to all of these, so I don't want to. I'll just pick and choose. Judges telling contestants not to take risks. Defining contestants from non-Australian backgrounds by their culture and local cuisine.
Yes.
And
then this is my favourite. George Columbaris. Giving people checks. Not a great look.
I thought it was George Columbaris. Full stop.
No, just hold on. Calling anyone big boy or complimenting Jess's pigtails. Just in general.
The just in general makes that perfect. I've got a lot of George. Just to go with that, and we'll come back to some of the things you've got there. But Austenite, George Columbaris must go. This is number one, and it's a deal breaker for me. Debonik, boom boom shake the room, please, never again.
Oh.
And then George and Gary was also there as well. We had, where else? We've got a few more of these. I'll go into Josh's in a minute, because Josh has a rant and a half, which is an accurate rant and a half. Again, he also says boom boom shake the room, by the way.
I can't believe I left that off.
Josh also said that George and Shannon possibly need to be replaced. Again, it's quite common.
Yeah, that ties into one of mine, which is enough with the penises, okay? Get some actual gender diversity in there. Like, it doesn't have to be a woman. It could be someone that's agendered. You know, it just Just enough with the bro club, enough with the sausage fest. Other people can cook.
There does, I agree with that 100%. I think there needs to be a female judge and not a token.
No, not the, I'm so sweet and nice and I'll just be here, like cheering you on and agreeing with everything the men say. No, someone with gravitas, someone who will know their
Not
shit.
Maggie Beer.
Not Maggie Beer.
Not Maggie Beer. She belongs to Bake Off.
Pure.
Yeah. Someone like Ella Wolf Tasker, because she knows how to call those guys on their bullshit as
Ella
well.
Wolf Tasker would be really good.
Oh, she would just fucking...
I would watch that with Ella Wolf Tasker as the extra judge.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. What else have you got there, Leah?
Let me just see. Challenges based on Matt Preston reviews.
Yes.
Matt Preston reviews.
Gone. Want them gone.
Mm.
Into the bin.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, and I have a little thing on game-changing advantages.
I'll go for
They're
it.
never actually game-changing. At least it's not going to be like Survivor Game Changers. When there were so many game changers that someone was eliminated just for the fact that they didn't have an immunity idol.
Yes. Can I add there? Can we have Des in the Masterchef?
Yes. On the gantry.
On the gantry. He doesn't need to compete. I just want Des on the gantry.
He's the only additional male I will allow in that
And by the
kitchen.
way, if
These
anybody
latte sipping.
if anybody out there has seen Des on Twitter lately, the beard that he has grown is magnificent.
Mm.
It's resplendent. I will take Des up on there because I mean, as
And
the
a
winner,
chicken idol.
as the winner of Survivor Des and the man who held the chicken nugget idol. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go hunt it down. It's under the Tiki Lounge podcast. What else do we have there? Because I've got a couple of others here as well. I'll go through a couple of ours quickly.
Bias judging. I'd like some fair, more blind judging than, judging that's obviously for the person, not the fucking dish.
Yep, a couple of people have said things like blind judging is quite common. Josh also added, once we get to the top 12, you need to taste every mystery box or invention test dish.
Yep.
Every single one. I agree. All right. I'm going to get on to the rant of rants. Our friend Robert Harwood from Great Australian Bake Off also may be involved with a little thing coming up called Food Nerd Vanity Project.
Mm-hmm.
Fellow karaoke singer.
He unleashed on the Facebook page, The Washing Up, where I posted the 10 MasterChef commandments to the tune of the 10 Jewel commandments from Hamilton. Go and read it. It's amusing.
Sing it to yourself.
I was
Last
amused.
chance to negotiate.
I was amused, especially with the George Columbara's Fair Work Australia discussion. So Robert put down his list. So this is what he said: no dome molds and no mounds with shards artfully balanced on top. No granitas or sorbets unless they are third or fourth component in the dish. You may only make ice cream twice in a season. The same goes for mousse, unless it makes up a minor part of a more interesting dish.
You can tell this is a Robert rant based on the content.
Not more than one panna cotta per contestant per season. It gets better. That includes set custard-ish things.
Okay, so I'm now imagining that they're all issued panna cotta cards and mousse cards.
Play it.
And I'm going to play my panna cotta card tonight. Oh, risky decision this early in the piece.
Does Robert have any restrictions based on savoury foods?
It's coming.
Okay.
It's definitely coming. No immunity pins. All immunity should be you must cook, but you can opt out of a tasting. We want to see more creativity, not more people playing it safe. I like that one.
Yeah.
The idea that they encourage you to do something wild when you've got a pin because you can get out of it if it goes badly.
Yes.
I like that idea.
Yep.
It makes people push themselves. No more than 2 pasta dishes per person per season. You need to know and be able to identify the influences in your dish. No Middle Eastern, Indian, Southeast Asian, or Mediterranean dishes. It is Vietnamese. Is it North Indian? It's Pakistani. Is it Sri Lankan? Is it Lebanese or Persian or Siciliano or Calabrese? You must know the heritage of what you're making.
Yep.
I like that. The phrase "play it safe" is to be banned from the kitchen. No repeat challenges. If we've already seen it in years 1 to 10, we don't want to see it again as a challenge.
Mhm.
The moment has passed. Let's get some new innovative dishes.
Yes.
I like that. Still going. This is my favourite part of his rant. Death to negative space plating. If there is less than 40% of the plate covered, you are out. More 2.5 to 4.5 hour cook times.
Yes.
Let's see what they can do with a 4-hour cook limit.
Mm-hmm.
Fewer desserts. As Robert points out, seriously, Bake Off actually has fewer desserts than MasterChef at this point. And he's not wrong.
And you know what? Like, most of those MasterChef desserts are ice creams anyway.
Yeah, or parfaits,
and
or
they're
spheres, or domes, or...
It's not. It's like I watch Sugar Rush. Okay, if you want to watch a kind of, it's competitive and there's like a cash prize, and it had every hallmark of it being shitty, but I actually really enjoyed it. And you've got people there with real talent, and they do things. So it's like there's a cupcake challenge, but then there's a confection challenge, and then there's a cake challenge. So you're getting 3 very different challenges, which was refreshing, and that's what I want to see in our desserts. No more fucking parfaits. There can only be so many parfaits.
Okay, he's still going. And they get better.
Of course he is.
It's hard to say they get better, but trust me, people, this is worth it. Judges must never mention or reference a contestant's age, ever. It's not relevant. Stronger theming on challenges, so contestants are forced to cook sweet or savoury. Alternating 2 savoury challenges to 1 sweet would be more interesting. Frozen or mousse components must not make up 30% more than 30% of a dish.
Mm-hmm.
Contestants must have worked their way through the list of expected skills and knowledge they are provided with by production prior to trying out for the top 24.
Yep.
There is no excuse for a contestant to ever say, "I've never done X." Now, what you have to remember is Robert speaks from experience. He has applied for MasterChef. He almost got on in the year where Elena won. He and Elena were benchmates.
Mm-hmm.
He knows there is a list that they are given by production. He knows what goes into that list.
Yep.
You are told what you should basically know what to do before you walk in there.
But even if without that list, if you're going on to something like that, you would, like I've always said, start 3 years out, start planning.
Well, we had a conversation with Ben.
Mm.
And Ben the other day, and Ben's comment when we were up at Ungerman Brothers, and Ben's comment to us was, once I knew I was going on, the skills that I wasn't 100% sure on, I practiced.
And you know what? They could actually, if there's a list of skills they should know how to do, you know what? Structure the challenges around those skills.
That would make sense.
Absolutely. There's something else I don't want to see any more of that needs to go. What about your children, Chloe?
Oh,
Judges
children
pushing for children's sob stories. It's like touch on them maybe once or twice, but none of this trying to draw tears at an already stressful moment from contestants. It's bullshit. It's enough. We don't need it.
Exactly. The other thing they also agree, Josh also said, was change the top 24 selection process, because they gave out so many aprons on day 1.
Yep.
That it kind of forced their hand.
Yep.
Think about it. All they did on day 1 that we saw, and again, someone else will go, "Oh no, it's not like that." All they did on day 1 was throw aprons at people.
Yep.
And this has happened for the past 3 years. It's not like it's just this season.
Exactly.
Like I remember like the big cook-offs that they used to do. I remember Shark Island. There was like massive people there cooking off together and narrowing it down that way. I mean, you do get moments. I mean, the cool thing is that you get to see families, you get to see someone's nonna or friggin' partner or whatever. But, yeah.
My absolute favourite bit of feedback we've been given, and this is absolute, I didn't even think of this.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Okay, you go. And I've got a point.
Josh said, criteria. Set consistent benchmarks.
Yeah, set them.
But that can be viewed by the audience online.
Yep.
So actually put the criteria online for the challenge so people at home can see what they judge off.
Us crazy nerds can do that. Now, I just had an idea for the audition things. Remember in Top Gear when they used to have celebrity in a moderately priced vehicle?
Yes.
Yep.
And that whole list that, if you got faster, you got your name got put above people and that kind of thing. What about something like that when everyone cooks and they're not given an apron, but they're rated against the other people they've cooked against them. So, you know, did they like that dish more or less than they liked the other person? And it's like a continuing movable feast, so to speak.
Yeah, they can move people up and down.
Yeah.
They can move people up and down, and then it also means they don't have to give them the apron immediately. They can then give out a whole pile of aprons at the end of the process, and then have like an area which is the apron area and an area which is the you cook for it.
Exactly. Yes, that would work so well.
And it would stop a lot of this, throwing aprons at random people. I think.
But then you can't have someone's adorable child give them the apron.
No, but you can have someone's adorable child hope that they get it. Yeah. Maybe they just give them like the tie for the apron. So I think there's a few things that we all sort of agree on. I think the number one thing that everybody at home agrees on, beyond George Columbaris needs to go, is consistency.
Yep.
The biggest problem that MasterChef has is consistency of judging. And there's a couple of times, I think John Slack-Smith commented on it on Twitter, and a couple of other people said similar sorts of things, where they all said that the problem is, don't say, for example, that contestant X needs to do something, and they need to do X, and they need to do X, and they need to do X, and then tell them that Y wasn't quite right, and that's why they're going home. Like, you need to get X right or else. And they get X right, and they're like, yeah, but Y wasn't right. It's like, hang on, if you give them criteria, hold to the criteria. And the other thing, Jen Gawley was one of the people who said it, but a few other people have also pointed it out, blind tasting.
As often as possible.
Now, her problem is that at the moment with the professional versus the amateur, it's a bit of a joke because they can clearly tell who did it. Like, you know, the week that Sashi cooked off and Sashi made a curry and the other guy didn't, and it was quite obvious, and it's always obvious. But my idea is they need to do blind taste testing completely.
If they take out, hear me out. It's great to see some professionals and getting to know people and stuff come through. But if they take out the going against a professional and actually go against each other for what Robert suggested, which was to just not be tasted in a cook, we're going to see people consistently, one person each week is going to get the power to opt out of a cook, and therefore they get a second time to advance and push themselves out of it.
Or how about this? If they're going to do it as a judging and a comparison against it, rather than do necessarily even do a full dish like that, what you do is you get, you've got Gary and George both in the kitchen.
Yep.
I'm making this element here. I want to see who can get the closest to this element.
Yep.
Who can get the closest to making this element accurate? And then you don't give them the step-by-step instructions. You give them some general outline of it, and they've got to use their skills to get to that perfectly.
Yeah.
I think that's a way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a number of things they can do to fix this up. And I don't think it's a lost cause, but I worry that if they don't address it, the audiences – look, I've never seen the audience of MasterChef so over – the judges. Like, usually there's a bit of complaining, but I think this year, I don't know what your experience is, Leah, because it'd be different than necessarily ours, but I've never seen the Twitter audience and the online audience so up in arms consistently about judging.
They look burnt out.
Yep.
They've got all the hallmarks of being burnt out. It's like this week there is this new reinvented vigor in them and happiness because they know it's the last week.
Yeah.
The only other time I've seen them this happy is when Matt and Reynold walked in through the room, when Gordon was there, when they were meeting Prince Charles. Like, it takes an external source to reinvigorate them. And they've just, you know, their inconsistency, their general demeanour, the way they've been talking to the contestants, it's been really...
Well, can I suggest one more change then?
Yeah.
Shorten the show.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't need to be this long.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't. It doesn't need to be this long.
Basically, what Channel 10 do is they set something up for, like, there's a 3-month block for every one of their main shows.
Yep.
And it started in the Big Brother era because Big Brother went on for the 3 months. So, you know, with the Mike Goldblum and hot dogs up late. Oh my God, could you imagine MasterChef up late?
MasterChef up late.
The prizes. Who would you have? You'd have John and his velouté.
Yeah, John would be there hosting up late.
John hosting up late.
Oh, Khanh would be the star.
Oh, Khanh would be awesome.
It'd be great.
Khanh would be awesome.
Just want Khanh and Joe and
Hoda.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, people, a cheap plug for them, but Aldo and Hodder
are doing a pop-up restaurant.
Are doing a pop-up restaurant.
In
They're
Newtown?
taking over a cafe in Newtown. It's on Instagram. It's on Twitter. You can go and find out the details there. I believe they've already sold 2/3 of the tickets.
Yes, it's only $90, and it's going to be, what was it, Jaffa baklava?
Yeah.
So just for that alone, it's going to be. We're going to be there.
We will be there.
Yeah.
Did you tell them that you really want me to move to Sydney? Is this part of your plan?
No, but we really do.
Can be.
We've got a place for you to live. Okay, this is it, people.
So this is it. We're just what we're doing is we'll have an intervention for Leah.
Basically, Gabby, who comes on this podcast, needs a flatmate, and Leah and Gabby, perfect flatmates. I reckon. Just they're into the TV, into the cooking shows.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. I just need to find a job in Sydney.
Well,
so if you're out there listening in Sydney, and some of your skills, she's currently doing Janelle dance classes. So her sewing is out of this world great.
Karaoke skills.
Karaoke skills are amazing. So anyone in Sydney looking for an assistant or some form of clerical or
what else would you like to do? You could do
modern jazz, tap. What I don't.
What about like a lollipop person at the schools?
Oh.
Just up every morning.
There's the dream.
It's just like that episode of Kimmy Schmidt.
I don't know why that was the first thing that jumped into my head.
I don't know, but that's spectacular. It's a bit of a sign that we should probably end the podcast. All right, so remember to go to Facebook. Go to our Facebook to put yourself in the running for our gift. Again, it is a gift. It's not a prize. It's a gift.
Yes.
What would you pair with ribs?
What would you pair with ribs? And ribs with
pineapple salsa. Sorry.
And burnt. Just burnt.
Okay. By the definition, anything cut into small cubes is a salsa. So if I go and get some marshmallow, I can make a marshmallow salsa.
Well, we were suggesting earlier tonight there should be a tomahawk twirl. So
the marshmallow
it would
salsa.
go perfectly with a marshmallow salsa. That'd be really good.
I agree.
Thank you again for coming on, Leah. Always a
Thanks
pleasure.
for having me.
Is there anything you want to plug for yourself?
For myself, not at the moment.
No.
Just you as a general possible employee?
Yep. At For the Jokes on Twitter. I am actually in my my side hustle is I'm a television critic. So I am actually writing up my list into a proper article. And that will be on my blog probably in half an hour after this podcast is over. So yeah.
So the address for the blog?
forthejokes.wordpress.com.
There you go.
Okay.
It's all the place you can find all of Leah's TV musings, and there's plenty of them, and of course her amazing bake-off gifts.
Oh my God, this is going to be my 600th post.
That'll be
By the way.
amazing. So go and check out her 600th post. Let's get as many views for it as humanly possible. Remember, you can go over and find us as well on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. We're everywhere you want to be. And a couple of places you probably don't want.
Telegraph poles.
Yeah, I'm working on the carrier pigeon.
Fluoro and black.
And one thing.
Posters.
Wednesday, MasterChef's not on. New show starting. Well, that's what the Green Glad says.
Oh, okay.
That's the TV Bible, right?
Yes.
But new show Dead Lucky on SBS is starting. It is very good, and not about food at all, but it does have it is really focusing on the multiculturalism of Sydney.
Awesome.
There you go. It's good preparation for when you move. So that'll be really good. So keep an eye out for that. Also, there might be some activity this week from the Food Nerd Vanity Project Twitter coming out. At Food Nerd VP on Twitter. The episodes won't be up yet, but they're coming. They are very rapidly coming, and we will be doing Ugly Delicious almost immediately following MasterChef Australia finishing in that gap between MasterChef and, of course, when the real fun of Bake Off starts. So thank you again, Leah, for coming on.
Thanks.
Up until next time, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
We'll catch you all then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.